Let's dive into 20 interesting things to know about Parasyte the Maxim. Number 1. It's actually crazy to think about, but fans of the original manga had to wait over a quarter of a century for the anime adaptation. I mean, imagine reading the very first chapter and having to wait literal decades just to see Shinichi and Migi fully animated on screen. To put that into perspective, entire eras of animation styles and techniques completely came and went, while this legendary story just sat there waiting for its turn. Number 2. So, to really hammer home that massive gap, the manga's kickoff was way back in 1988, but the anime finally dropped in 2014. That is a true generational leap between the page and the screen, right? Just think about how completely different the world looked in the late 80s compared to 2014. From fashion to communication, we're talking about a totally different reality. Number 3. Because of that huge time jump we just talked about, the anime had to cleverly update the story's technology. They integrated modern tech, like smartphones and the internet, which obviously didn't even exist in the 80s. It seamlessly blended that classic horror vibe with the modern world. Instead of characters relying on payphones or looking things up in a physical library like they did in the original manga, instant communication and digital research were woven right into the plot. Number 4. The manga was an absolutely staggering global success. Selling over 25 million copies worldwide proves just how much this bizarre, terrifying concept resonated with readers across the globe. To give you an idea of how massive that actually is, that's more than the entire population of many countries just sitting down to read this intense sci-fi thriller. Number 5. We're only getting started, but here's a pretty wild detail. Hollywood actually snagged the film rights long before Japan ever produced the anime. Western studios saw the cinematic potential of the story super early on. They clearly recognized that the intense body horror and unique sci-fi elements would translate perfectly into a massive Hollywood blockbuster. Number 6. Building on that last point, a live-action movie adaptation was actually in the works way back in 2005. This proves producers spent nearly a decade trying to crack the code on bringing these morphing and creatures into live action. They basically knew they had to wait for CGI technology to catch up to the terrifying visuals drawn on the page. Number 7. After years of basically nothing, 2014 became the ultimate year for fans. In an incredible coincidence, both the anime series and the first live-action film hit screens in the exact same year. Talk about absolute whiplash, right? Fans went from literally decades of zero-screen adaptations straight into a massive double feature of Parasyte content. Number 8. So what was the reason for that sudden 2014 boom? Well, New Line Cinema in Hollywood held the rights for years, but they finally expired in 2013. Those locked-up film rights essentially acted as a complete roadblock for Japanese animators. Just one single year after that restrictive legal hurdle was finally cleared, Parasyte got its anime. Number 9. That expiration led to a sudden explosion of content. Instead of 0 adaptations, fans got 2 Japanese live-action movies and the complete anime series releasing almost concurrently. It was like this massive wave of sci-fi horror hitting all at once, totally making up for all that lost time in the most spectacular way possible. Number 10. We're halfway through, and this next one is especially interesting. The manga itself was incredibly tight. Achieving over 25 million sales from a remarkably short 10-volume run is basically unheard of. When you consider that some sprawling series take 70 or even 80 volumes to hit those kinds of numbers, it really shows just how perfectly paced and fiercely compelling this story was, without dragging anything out. Number 11. The series definitely pulled no punches, which led to the heavy fact that China completely banned the franchise nationwide in 2015. Authorities over there simply felt that the intense body horror and the much darker themes glorified violence way too much for public consumption, so they removed it entirely from platforms across the country. Number 12. Okay, prepare to have your mind blown with this one. The original creator initially planned this whole concept as a romantic comedy. Yeah, you heard that right. He later fully pivoted to the intense body horror we know today. Just imagine Migi functioning as a quirky, shape-shifting wingman trying to help Shinichi get a date, instead of, acting as a deadly biological weapon fighting for basic survival. Number 13. When that first live-action film finally released, it was a massive local success. It immediately took the #1 spot at the Japanese box office right out of the gate. It even managed to beat out major global Hollywood blockbusters that were releasing that very same weekend. It really proved the local audience's hunger for this story was just as strong as ever.
Number 14. If you've ever wondered about the spelling, you are definitely not alone. Spelling Parasyte with a Y wasn't a typo at all. It was actually a deliberate creative choice for the localized title to give it a distinct and unforgettable brand. This unique spelling made it way easier for searchability online, and it helped it stand out perfectly on merchandise.
Number 15. Some of the most fascinating details are still ahead. When the anime finally hit, it went truly global. It had a massive simulcast broadcast to over 100 regions shortly after airing in Japan. It was a monumental release strategy for the time that brought fans worldwide together to experience the sheer suspense and those wild twists in real time. Number 16. The popularity kept the momentum rolling right into localization. The English dub had a remarkably quick turnaround, dropping just about a year after the original Japanese broadcast finished. Now, this was incredibly fast for 2014 standards, back before the modern era where same-day dubs became the industry norm, highlighting just how much demand there really was for this show. Number 17. To get those insane morphing effects right, the live-action movie got really creative. They actually utilized cutting-edge video game motion capture tech to perfectly bring Miji's fluid, terrifying transformations to life on the big screen. Borrowing these advanced mechanics from the gaming industry gave the alien movements this unnervingly realistic feel. Number 18. The story's quality was recognized very early on. It won the prestigious Kodansha Manga Award way back in 1993. For a little context, this is one of the absolute highest honors in the entire Japanese publishing industry, meaning it had major critical acclaim decades before anyone ever saw it animated. Number 19. Honestly, one of the most impressive feats of the anime is its sheer efficiency. The studio managed to adapt the entire completed manga storyline perfectly into a tight, absolutely no-filler 24-episode run. Every single episode matters, making it perfectly paced and incredibly binge-watchable from start to finish. Number 20. At its philosophical core, the series goes way beyond cool fights, asking a really deep question. Are humans the real parasites on Earth? It's the kind of thing that really leaves you thinking long after the screen goes black. Well, if you enjoyed exploring these facts with me today, make sure to like, share, and hit that subscribe button for more anime explainers. See you next time.